Good evening, Calabasas. Welcome to the Tuesday, November 12th meeting of the Environmental Commission. It is 6:02, and we have a very exciting meeting in store. So I'm going to turn it over to our wonderful Melanice for the roll call of commission members.
Thank you, Chair Cohen. So I will do the roll call now. Chair Cohen?
Present.
Vice Chair Schwartz? Here. Commissioner Byrne?
Here.
Commissioner Jactiani?
Here.
Commissioner Feilish?
Present.
Wonderful. Non-voting student member Tesser?
Here.
Alternative student member Schaefer? And alternative student member Fong. Wonderful. We have a quorum.
Great, thank you. Next order of business is the Pledge of Allegiance. And we have some special guests who are going to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. You guys come on up and introduce yourselves. Tell us what to do.
Hi, my name is Arjun Singh.
Hi, my name is Austin Barrow.
Hello, my name is Damon Onimus.
And we represent the Calabasas Cheetahs.
Woo!
Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Put your right hand over your heart.
Ready, begin.
I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right,
It's right there.
that's you guys. Thank you very much, Calabasas Cheetahs, our own cross-country running team within our city limits. Exciting to have you guys here. The next order of business is the approval of the agenda. Any commissioners want to make any comments on the agenda? Seeing none, we'll entertain a motion and a second for the approval of the agenda. Anyone?
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda for tonight's meeting.
Thank you. Is there a second?
I will second that motion.
Melanice, would you like to do a roll call of?
Wonderful. Yes, we have a motion by Commissioner Jactiani and a second by Commissioner Byrne. I will go through and do a roll call now. Chair Cohen?
Yes.
Wonderful. Vice Chair Schwartz?
Present.
No.
Just
We're
aye or
voting on the
nay
agenda, yes
would
or
do.
no.
Aye.
Wonderful. Commissioner Byrne?
Aye.
Commissioner Jactiani?
Aye.
And Commissioner Feilish?
Aye.
Wonderful. The approval of the agenda passes. Now we'll move on to the approval of the meeting summary.
Great. And the meeting summary from the August 6th meeting, we received the minutes in our emails. So I will entertain, first of all, if there's any discussion or conversations or mistakes or anything in the minutes, let me know. Otherwise, I will entertain a motion to approve those minutes from our previous meeting, August 6th of 2024. Anyone?
I'll make a motion to approve our minutes.
Thank you,
For
Beth.
our last meeting on August 6th,
Is there a second?
2024.
I'll second that.
Thank you, Whitney. Melanice, want to do a roll call,
Thank you,
please?
Chair Cohen. Yes. So I'll start with you, Chair Cohen.
Yes.
Vice
Approved.
Chair Schwartz?
Approved.
Commissioner Byrne?
Aye.
Commissioner Jactiani?
Aye.
And Commissioner Feilish? Wonderful. So the approval of the meeting minutes passes. Thank you.
Thank you all very much. The next order of business is oral communications and public comment. If there's anyone who would like to make a public comment or anything, there are cards in the back of the room that you can fill out. And if you just hand them to our staff, I'll give a minute here. We welcome public comments. Otherwise, no. Help me out, Treya. Thank you.
Can I compliment you, Commissioner Chair, on
Sure.
the artwork you requested to have? Thank you for that.
Really
It's
great.
Thank you, and thank you to staff.
No,
for
Thank
really,
you to
making that
staff for
happen.
Thank you
taking the
so
time.
much. It's
Isn't that
nice.
awesome,
It's
guys?
really the best.
Isn't that awesome? Yeah. We're bringing back an old tradition that
Yes.
hopefully will be good for will be back in place. It's all right. You know what? If you're going to make a public comment, just do me a favor, sir. Do me a favor. Just tell Melanie your name. Is that all right?
I'm speaking on an item on the agenda, not on the public comment.
Oh, okay. Did either one of you want to make a public comment? No. All right. Then we'll just move past public comments.
Okay, so for the record, there were no public comments received. We will address your comment during the appropriate agenda item.
Wait, I have a question about that. Is there public comment during agenda items? There is, okay. Okay, cool. Okay, great. Thank you, guys. Thank you for clarifying. All right, we're moving into the agenda. First order of business is a vote for the Carl Gibbs Environmental Excellence Award. And this is an award that's near and dear to a lot of our hearts. And staff is going to introduce this item. Take it away.
Absolutely. Thank you, Chair. So each year we have an Environmental Excellence Award recipient. And tonight we are voting on one nominee that we received for prior Mayor Mary Sue Meyer. Each of you have been shared the documentation, and you would be asked to either nominate or abstain from voting. So I would open the floor to any communications or any questions you might have for one another as you're voting on this item.
Thank you very much. So I'm going to open this up to public comment. I see. Now I get it. Okay, I'm going to open this up for public comment, and then we'll have commissioner comments. So
Wonderful.
Is this the item that you would like to speak on? Oh, wonderful.
So we have one
please.
public comment from Joanne Suara.
Joanne, thank you for joining us this evening.
My pleasure. Good evening. My name is Joanne Suara. I'm a 50-year Calabasas resident, and I'm a founder of the Calabasas Coalition. And I am here tonight to support the nomination of Mary Sue Maurer for the Carl Gibb Award. I've known Mary Sue for almost 20 years, and I'd just like to share a few of the contributions that she's made to our community. She was on the Santa Monica Mountains Conservancy Advisory Board, and as a member, she worked with all stakeholders trying to acquire land for open space. She also supported the protection of the mountain lion population and other wildlife habitats. And in her 17 years as a city council member, she was known as a leader of environmental sustainability. She was instrumental in putting together a climate action plan for the city. And in all those 17 years, she worked tirelessly to protect the ridgelines and hillsides of our beautiful city from overdevelopment. She still today remains a role model for environmental stewardship. She recycles whenever she can, reuses whatever she can. She doesn't just talk the talk, she walks the walk, and she sets an example for all of us to follow. So the Calabasas Coalition and I would like to thank you very much for giving her this award. Certainly well-deserved, and she's an extraordinary woman who I'm proud to know. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Were there any other public comments? I hope that if we do vote for her, the Carl Gibbs Award, it's going to be very, very, very mysterious whether we're going to do that or not. But if we do, I hope that you'll join us when she receives the award as well. Thank you for your comments. Those are really kind and very, very appropriate. I will now entertain commissioner comments, and I certainly have a few. So I will see if anybody else has anything to say. Wait, don't leave. Don't you want to know if she gets it?
Well,
Come on.
Are we going to find out?
I was going to vote for it, but you leave. I'm voting against. Anybody? Any commissioners have a comment? I'm happy to. So I was proud to serve with Mary Sue for many years, since I am an old timer on the Environmental Commission. And I will tell one story that Mary Sue was the mayor, and my daughter asked me, so this is going back 12 years ago, my daughter said to me, "Dad, do you have to be a woman to be the mayor?" How cool is that, right? Kind of ironic with everything going on. But that was a comment that my daughter made to me, and that's the kind of leader Mary Sue was. She was wonderful, but not just as the mayor. She was a wonderful team player on the city council. I was Fred Gaines' representative, James Bazagian's representative, and Mary Sue always made time for me and was always interested in various environmental things that I wanted to speak to her about. She was a teacher by background, and my understanding was that she was an excellent teacher. And I wholeheartedly support this nomination and look forward to voting for her and to awarding her the Carl Gibbs Award. Anybody else?
I'll speak. My husband and I both would like to support Mary Sue in this Carl Gibbs Award. I will say that back in 2010, I approached the city. I was on the board of directors of my homeowners association, and we found out that District 22 was trapping coyotes. And the city council was unaware of it because it was a long-standing contract with LA County Department of Agriculture. The next day, Mary Sue called along with the other council members on the phone, and they put an immediate moratorium on the coyote trapping for any city funds to be used for coyote trapping. And she was instrumental in that effort, and it took 10 months, and the city then passed the resolution to not spend any money on the trapping of coyotes. And I'm grateful to Mary Sue for all of her efforts that she did over the years and her environmental stewardship.
Thanks, Randy. Any other comments? Thank you guys very much. Why don't we go ahead and proceed right into to nominations. And I guess, Melanie, why don't you do that, because I'd like to vote on this one.
Absolutely. So at this time, we can entertain a motion to either approve and vote for this nominee to receive the award, or we can have a nominate.
And I'll make a motion to approve Mary Sue Maurer for the Carl Gibbs Award for this year.
I'd like to second that motion.
Wonderful. So we have a first from Chair Cohen, and we have a second from Commissioner Byrne. I will now go through a roll call. Chair Cohen,
Yes.
Vice Chair Schwartz,
Yes.
Commissioner Byrne,
Yes.
Commissioner Jactiani,
Yes.
and Commissioner Feilish. Wonderful. So the motion passes, and we are proud to award Mary Sue Meyer as our 2024 Environmental Excellence Award recipient. Thank you.
Wonderful. Thanks, Melanie. All right, now you guys, you can stay. You can stay. The meeting gets better. But thank you for speaking again.
Thank you.
And I hope you'll come when we give the award.
When will that be?
Hopefully December 10th.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Yeah, spread the word.
I will.
Before we move on to 2, can we still discuss the Carl Gibbs Award a little bit?
Yes, please.
Okay, so in the past, we've been allowed to nominate people, and we get letters, emails saying, like, start doing it. So I was a bit surprised that this happened already. Is there a change in plans?
You know, I'm going to interject. That's a great comment. I think we should agendize that and tackle it at the next meeting.
Okay, perfect.
Because that's a little bit
Do I
different
have to
than
make a
the-
motion to do that? Or can we just
when
do
we
it?
get to it at number 8, we
8,
can make
I'm
that a
gonna make
future agenda
sure I
item.
do that.
Yeah,
Okay,
just
thank you
because
for
it's a
that.
little off from actually voting
Thank
on the
you.
nominee. Yeah.
Thanks, Beth. We'll move into item number 2. Action item, which is to vote on the Community Recycling Awareness 2024 Calendar Drawing Contest. And I'm going to let staff introduce it, and then I'm going to ask the subcommittee related to this to speak a little bit.
Absolutely. Thank you, Chair Cohen.
Thank you.
So annually, we have been carrying out a recycling calendar contest where students from K through 8 age group can participate in this competition, submitting a drawing that's in the theme of the topic. This year's topic was, how do I recycle in my life? And we had received over 1,500 submissions this year. We narrowed it down with our subcommittee to 89 total, which are on the walls behind you today and included in the PowerPoint presentation that we had previously shared with you. Tonight, we are going to be voting on which of these items will be included in a 2025 calendar that we will be distributing to community members and the school. Do
Great,
you have any
thank you.
additional questions or anything before we go into voting?
I just would like, there was a subcommittee, so I'd like the subcommittee to just have an opportunity to tell us a little bit about the process and about their thoughts on how things went and before we do the voting. Our subcommittee.
Okay, well, I love being part of the subcommittee. I think it's great how we're involved in the community in such a big level. I was excited to see the amount that we had and to sit and go through them all. We narrowed these down really focusing on which fit the theme of how do I recycle in my life. A lot of people wanted to do recycle, reduce, reuse, and we tried to push them further. So you'll find the ones up on the wall really are how they recycle, which is what we were hoping to get. And we went with such a wide range topic this year because last year Know Your Bins was so specific. I did find that doing it with such a loose topic wasn't as successful, and I think in the future I'd encourage us to be more specific. I also, being a former educator, really think when it goes to the schools, the topic, it has to have teaching points with it so that new knowledge and new information is coming out, because I just felt this year like it was a bit tired. So that was my experience.
Go ahead.
I gotta say, I agree, because when you have 1,500 drawings and you're trying to get them whittled down, so much talent is there. And it helped to have a theme. If it could have been a little bit more specific, we could have maybe even been more streamlined about it, or gotten more that were along those lines.
I appreciate it.
Thanks.
Great. In the past, any kid like our own Gavin Tesser who did a drawing, whatever the theme was when he won 9 years ago, those 9 years have passed. So theoretically, we could use some of those themes again.
Absolutely, and I've been supplied with the most recent 10 years, and so I think by our next meeting, we'll look at those and see which ones have really been good, but we just really should give teaching points to the teachers, so it's not just students drawing for no reason other than to draw. It would be really nice to know that there's some knowledge behind it.
Excellent. And were there others, other than the two of you, were there others who took part in whittling down the?
Two ladies over there, our two lovely Trey and Melanice were there for sure, going through the bulk of it.
So thank you both as well. Please.
Just in response to what you said, there are some submissions where I could tell the teacher taught them something, and it really was noticeable. So when you say that, I think, oh yeah, that's a really good idea.
I have a question. It might be for Curtis, Melanice. If we want to decide on another theme, is that the subcommittee that we have created that does that to bring it to the commission, or how does that work?
It could happen, one of two ways. The subcommittee can bring back themes that would be discussed among the commission, or it can just be something the commission discusses as a whole. See, I'll leave it up to the commission.
I'm assuming I didn't sit on the agenda for this meeting. I'm assuming right now we vote at the next meeting on the next year's theme. Is that so? If your subcommittee wants to bring back
Some
ideas,
ideas.
I think that would be great.
Why not?
But I'm hoping we have the meeting next month. We still have to vote on that, but assuming we do, we would then agendize this for discussion, and I would welcome input. Before we vote, just as I say, Gavin was a recipient. Did you want to just talk just for a moment about that experience? If you don't mind, I'm putting you on the spot. But
Yeah, of course. So I think that the contest personally was very impactful for me, and it kind of sparked my interest in environmental artwork. So I think it's definitely important to continue the tradition. And just speaking from my experience, my teachers didn't really incorporate an educational component with the contest. It was more so just they assigned it and said to do it. And as we got into middle school, the teachers didn't even advertise it. So I think there's a lot more that can be done.
I'm wondering, hearing you say that, and I remember Sydney also was inspired by winning, so it's like they win and they're motivated. It's so exciting. But knowing what you've done with art, is there any way, in a page in our calendar, we could do something about what Gavin's doing, since he's a commissioner and he's doing environmental art? Because he presented it to us, remember? It would just be like an extra page if we could. That would be awesome. Just throwing it out there.
I think it's a really great idea too. It might be something that's best discussed when we talk about the theme for next year. Maybe we incorporate it for next year, potentially
Okay,
having,
next year.
yeah. And if we,
Like a feature artist, or just like where our winners are now. Just kind of
Yeah.
that link to like, okay. Thank you.
That's interesting, Beth,
That's a good
because the
idea.
reality is 14 times however many years we've been doing, right, there's several hundred kids. But I know Isla Goldfarb, who ran, also was a past recipient, so I think it does inspire. That's great. Thank you again to the subcommittee for all your work, and let's move on to voting. Melanie, do you want to
Yes.
provide the PowerPoint
Absolutely.
and
Thank you.
explain the grades and where we're at,
Absolutely.
please?
Thank you, Chair Cohen. So in terms of our items that were received this year, we had received a total of 1,546. This is the breakdown per grade. And then our screened entries are the items that we went through with our subcommittee. Thank you so much for your time, and we know it's volunteered, so we very much appreciate it. In terms of number of winners, those are the amount of drawings that will be selected per age group. On the walls behind you, we have the artwork if you wanted to see it any closer, but each item has an assigned number here on the PowerPoint. So we'll go through grade by grade. If you've already reviewed these drawings in advance, that would be wonderful to include on your document, but we'll go through each item and tell you how many drawings you can choose for each year. And then on that paper that you have in front of you, you could jot down which ones are your top nominees, and then we'll collect those sample ballots in front of you. We'll take a short recess so staff can count up the votes, and then we'll call you back when we're ready.
Great. So do you prefer that we go look, or are you going to put them on the screens?
They're not organized by number, so we'll go through the screen, but if you wanted a closer look, you can look in the grade groups divided behind you.
All right.
And a really quick heads up that the presentation has a timer. So each slide, once we get to the pictures, will be on screen for a set amount of time. Each one gets the same amount of time.
I have a point of information. In the past, the student reps voted on this. They didn't vote on any other items?
We will have Mr. Tesser voting as our student member. The alternative members usually vote in the case that the student member is not present.
So again, we'll talk about this later, but in the past years, all student members voted. Just so we can, I know we'll do what you're saying this time, but I'd like to have a discussion of this so we don't have this problem.
yeah, no, we can
Discuss it with
discuss
me
it
next time
at the next
before-
meeting. I'll just make one clarification that as we went through the last selection process, we learned that technically we're allowed one student commissioner.
So,
And
all right.
so what we were doing in years prior wasn't quite in line with how things should operate. But we've done a great job of, I'm really glad that our alternate members do attend. That's wonderful, and want to encourage that. But for voting purposes, we'll have to stick with just the primary student member.
All right. Well, how about this? Is it possible for the primary student member to discuss with the other students prior to his voting? Is that allowable for staff?
That's fine.
Thank you. Okay.
And before
Please
we
proceed.
get started, are there any questions about how the voting sheet works? Yes.
So do we only vote, like, let's say there's one winner for first grade, would we only put one nomination on the sheet?
Correct. So the sheet should be blocked out. That first grade, the box next to it has
Yeah.
none. There should only be
Okay.
one space.
Thank you.
And then I had an additional comment to make. And so when I think I was in 5th grade and I believe that the Environmental Commission or the drawing, they actually worked with the local Santa Monica cyclery to give away a bike along with the drawing contest to the winner. And I just thought that's a great idea to incentivize people that they could win like a new bike or something like that. We could work with local companies to incentivize these kids to do those types of things. And I believe that year, I think we had almost every student in our grade at least participate in some form. I participated because I thought, I have a chance at a new bike. So, worth a shot.
Thank you for
I do
sharing.
believe that the recipients do get $25, and and the teacher gets 25. Is that still the case? Or?
The students receive, I believe, $15 or $20 and for Barnes & Noble, and then each teacher receives a gift card for every class packet that they submit. So for example, if they have a class of 28 students and they submit 75% or more, then they receive that gift card. Some teachers only have small levels of participation in their classes, so sometimes they don't qualify for a gift card.
But the teachers don't win anything additional if they have a winning student. All of the teachers who submit get the same reward.
That's cool. Okay, great. Any other comments or anything, questions? Or should we just proceed into seeing the, let's go ahead and move into the voting, please.
Okay, so for kindergarten, we received a total of 17 screen entries, and we're going to pick one. The numbers are in red in the bottom right-hand corner.
Will you just remind us the theme? Sorry.
How do I recycle in my life?
Thank you.
And at any point, once we finish a grade, we can always go through the grade again if needed.
Will you do me a favor and show them all one more time, please?
If any commissioners need that one more time, or are we ready to move on?
Wonderful. So for first grade, we had a total of 10 screened entries, and we're also going to select one.
I think I need that again. Sorry. I should just go up here and look.
Are we ready for second grade? Okay.
Yeah.
So the number of screened entries, we had a total of 3, and we're going to choose one. Commissioners, would you like us to go through second grade one more time?
No, I'm good. This is not my strong suit.
Wonderful. So next we have third grade. We had a total of 10 screened entries, and we're going to select 2.
I think I need that one again. Sorry. We're here till 10 o'clock. No, because of me. I'm joking. I'm joking.
Are we ready to move on to the fourth grade nominations? Okay. So we had 16 screened entries, and we're hoping to pick 2 this evening. We're going through fourth grade one more time. wonderful. So that fourth grade section, we'll now move on to fifth grade. There were a total number of 4 screened entries, and we're hoping to select one this evening. Would you like us to go through fifth grade one more time, commissioners? Commissioners, would you like us to go through fifth grade one more time? Are we ready to move to sixth grade? So we had a total of 7 screened entries, and we're hoping to pick 2 this evening. Commissioners, are you all set on sixth grade, or would you like us to go through the submissions one more time? Okay, wonderful. So next we're going into our seventh grade entries. We have 13 screened entries, and we're hoping to select 2. Would you like us to replay grade 7? Absolutely. Commissioners, are we ready to move to grade 8? Okay, so our last age group is grade 8. We had 19 screened entries and we're hoping to select 2 tonight. Commissioners, that concludes 8th grade. Would you like us to go through one more time? Yeah. Would you like us to go through 8th grade one more time, Commissioners?
I have a question. Did you ask us to mark down if we came already, if we reviewed them and came already with our picks?
If you already had your picks, you can just provide that to us. If you don't have your picks yet, then we recommend using the numbers that were on the documents.
So why don't we all pass them down toward Curtis, and then
Absolutely.
we'll take a quick recess.
And did you each write your names on the
Make sure you write
forms?
your names on the bottom, please.
And we will call a recess, as Chair Cohen had mentioned.
Thank you.
As we tell.
By the way, just for the record, I like the ones where there's only 3 options. Just All right, we are back, and staff has tallied the totals, and why don't you let us know what you found, please?
Yes, so here really quick is what we're looking at right now. And we have a few ties. We have 3 ties that need to be broken. In kindergarten, 4th grade, and 7th grade had a 4-way tie. So we're going to give you new papers that show which ones need to be done again so we can hopefully break this tie. And we're going to show you just those pictures this time. So give us a moment while Melanie helps hand that out.
We have 2.
Yes, but yeah. This one's a little bit more foolproof to try to help you guys out.
Oh, wow. Oh, I see. Well, that is better. Wow. Curtis, have I told you lately how good your staff is? Oh, I'm sorry, the microphone's live.
Okay. And then whenever commissioners are ready, we can get started with kindergarten.
Let's do it. So we only have the 2 choices. Got it. Sorry, I didn't understand that.
So this one's between 2 choices. We have number 1 and number 5.
Please show us both of those again.
Yeah. We can spend a little bit more time on them this time.
That's a good question, actually. I think you can discuss them if you'd like to, if it helps facilitate a vote.
All right, because I saw Skylar, who isn't allowed to vote, but like had an opinion, and I just was curious, like why? Didn't you prefer one over the other? Like both of you do. I'd love to hear what you guys think.
All right, so I'll go first. The first one, this one, look over there, probably better. So the first one I think is just less busy than this one.
Yeah.
And I think it's a little bit more clear cut because this one's a bit busy.
Yeah.
And I really like the colors and everything, but I think I just like the simplicity of this one where it just says recycle for your planet.
And Ray?
I think the first one kind of shows the action of recycling, so it fits the theme a little more. That's just my opinion, though.
Okay, I love that because I do love the simplicity of it because like later on I voted for one that was really simple. But I love that this one mentions compost because that's so important with food waste. In the roof.
It says it on the roof, yeah.
It's
yeah, it's just kind of separated.
So now I'm stuck again because I went for this one just as like compost for sure. But okay, interesting. Thanks for sharing.
Gavin, what do you think?
I also think the first one. I just think it looks more simple, and I feel like it shows like the girl standing next to the trash can, which in my opinion also fits more with the theme.
I like the message on the first one.
You know what, Beth, I thank you for asking if we could speak. Because I was just doing this on my own, and I just thought about the white space and how that would look on a calendar. I wasn't really looking at it as much. So I really appreciate that feedback, because I don't have the eye that some of you have. So thank you. All right, let's move on to, everybody good? Can we move on to fourth?
4th grade as well as only 2 to select from, number 33 and number 42.
Well, yeah, I was curious. Is rot a thing? Have you guys heard of that before?
What?
It says ROT, like they were very much focusing on that.
Yeah.
Wait.
But that's not one of them.
I thought it was. Can we see them again? Of course. See, that's rot. And I didn't know what that, I was like, oh. Maybe they made it up?
Well, maybe organic trash.
Do any of you know what rot is?
What, have you heard of it before?
I've never heard of it.
I haven't, I just didn't know if it was a new term.
Maybe it becomes rot.
Oh, right there it says, okay.
Oh, that's clever.
Okay.
What's the other one?
At the bottom, it says, let it rot, recycle organics trash.
That's cool. That's cool.
What's so cool about that was we talked about this as a theme, maybe 3 or 4 years ago now, for a forum about fast fashion. Were any of you on the? So it's interesting to see this and like how we're constantly buying new things and how wasteful it is. So that's what I liked about that. And there's my compost. It's hard to pick.
Everybody got one? All right. It's 7th grade.
And 7th grade has a 4-way tie, so there are 4 drawings here to pick from. And you are picking 2. We'll go back through them. Is it 59 or 56? I might have.
It says 59, and on my paper it says 56.
Let's. So it's 59, 62, 65, and 68 are our choices.
I know, yeah.
Everybody done? We got a lot of meetings still, so let's pass them in. You could leave them blank and just be outvoted. Abstain. All right, can we continue on with the meeting while you guys are doing the tallies on this part? Or do you need us to? All right, no problem.
Okay, so while they're doing that, we do have the past themes that I'm just going to throw out. We're not voting on this, but just so you guys
Is it
can
possible
think.
to email those to us also?
Yes.
That would be
Not
yeah.
from me, obviously, but yeah.
No, from staff.
So, working our way back, we did Know Your Bins last year, and then let's just go back 10 years to 2014.
Yeah.
It was benefits of litter prevention in protecting wildlife.
Cool.
Interesting. Recycling plastic bottles, very specific.
Yeah.
Green waste recycling. E-waste recycling, like green waste recycling was 1 year. E-waste recycling. If we recycle food, ... I like those open-ended sentences usually. And 2009 was recycle paper. So,
I came up with one.
just now? Yeah, I mean, we're not really like voting or anything, but we're just chatting.
What about like recycling for wildlife conservation, or like extending it beyond like just the act of recycling, but its effects?
Yeah.
Wait, should we be discussing this right now? If it's on, then
I think at the level you're discussing it, it's fine as long as we won't take any, we won't be taking any action. This is
Absolutely no
just kind of a,
catch.
it's related to the calendar and the, the item that we know is coming at the end, which is going to be to come back with a more specific theme and for next year.
At
So
our
this is
next meeting.
just some general information at this point.
Thank you for
Here's
clarifying.
one to think about. What kind of items do I recycle?
Specific for sure.
Right, because crafty people recycle, and with certain things. Other people are just doing their house stuff.
And if you don't know about recycling that item, you just look over it. Yeah.
Is reduction of waste a possibility? How can I reduce the
Yeah.
waste, or how can I reduce my
Absolutely.
use?
Oh, I
or-
like that one.
Some of these calendars talked
Damn,
about
girl.
reducing, like, well,
That's a good
obviously
one.
reduce, reuse, recycle, but
we got a lot of those when we
Yeah.
were looking at the bulk of the drawings. Reduce, reuse, recycle. It's this mantra that most all the kids had. Reduce, reuse, recycle. So if we could get it more specific off of one of those, maybe it would make it.
I like it.
What are your guys' preferences in terms of when it comes to the topic? Should it be decently general or should it be like moderately specific? So
Well,
what are
it has
your
to have the
guys'
word
preferences on
recycle in
that
it
sort of that sort
specifically,
of thing?
right?
It has to, because waste management, we believe, wants it to. Like, we feel like there's a partnership there. But I think the most specific we can be, the better.
For the teaching aspect, correct? For the teaching part of it.
It
Yeah,
perhaps
definitely.
could make the calendar repetitive. So if it was like this one where it says, if we recycle food, ... then it's a bit open-ended, but still specific. But the bins one, we got annoyed at because it was so boring. They're not boring, but like so repetitive, each image. To create a calendar of interest, it was the same thing. So it's a thin line, but
And it would be nice to incorporate into our theme what's happening coming up in the next year or two, whether it's the wildlife overpass or whatever's
Making
going
it
on in the
relevant.
city, making it relevant to now, what's happening, where they can look around and see it, so that'd be cool.
I agree.
yeah.
Hi, commissioners.
All right,
We
we're
still
back.
we have a winner for kindergarten, but we still have ties for 4th grade and 7th grade.
Well, we know who won for
Staff
first.
recommendation would be for the chair to split the ties that still exist.
Chair. Go for it, Dave.
That's
God, I-
great.
But I
Yes,
suck.
Chair Cohen.
This
You
is not all
don't.
right.
No, you don't.
And our calendars weren't boring. You got this.
What did it go down to?
So-
33 or 42 and 65 or 68?
Correct. So we do have a first place winner for 7th grade now. We are no longer at a 4-way tie, but we still need to find second place for 4th grade and 7th grade.
Gotta do it quick, man.
All right, can you, I guess, give me the options? If that's all right?
So for 4th grade, it was between these two, the rot and the fast fashion.
All right, I'll pick that one, 42.
Okay,
Good.
42.
It's the only way to do it in life. Just make the decision and move on.
And then between 65 and 68, Save the Planet Your Own Way, or a little goldfish in the bottle.
That is adorable, but I think I'm going to go with the other.
Yeah, I agree. That's really clear.
It's adorable.
It is art, it is art.
I wish I could draw like that. It's amazing the art.
Thank you, commissioners.
Okay, so I think we have made the selections.
Cool.
We have our 14 selected drawings at our special meeting in December, which we'll be voting on later this meeting. We're hoping to congratulate and celebrate the winners and the selected entries.
Great, and you'll have them when they, assuming we have the next meeting is in December, you'll have them come, so they can do this before the calendars come out. And then, if you can also remind them, in the past, they've been able to give a little explanation of what their pictures represent. That would be great. Thank you again to our subcommittee for all your efforts, and to everyone here for voting, and to staff for all your help. Let's move on to the agenda, with the agenda, if that's okay. Next order of business is that staff?
Informational updates, number 3.
Wait, number 3, informational updates, sorry. Citywide Green Street, this is citywide projects. Citywide Green Streets Project. Staff?
Thank you, Chair Cohen. So we have prepared a PowerPoint presentation for you with some informational updates. I will share this on the screen now. There was a staff report that was accompanying this item, which was attached to your agenda packet that was previously shared with you and available on the city website. So first to start, we have our Citywide Green Streets Project Phase 1. It was completed in October of 2024, and it included redesigning a previously unpaved portion of Las Virgenes Road to incorporate vegetated bioswales that serve as infiltration chambers, holding and gradually infiltrating the water. Bioswales are natural filtration systems that remove debris and pollutants from stormwater runoff before discharging them into local storm drains. And bioswales also pre-treat runoff water by filtering with layers of filtering soil media and native plants. If you scan that QR code on the right-hand side, you can see the wonderful groundbreaking ceremony video our communications team created. And in the middle, we have a photo from our ribbon cutting ceremony on October 24th, 2024.
Aren't there a few members of the Environmental Commission in that photo?
Yes, thank you, Commissioner Feilish, for joining us.
And Skylar.
And
Skylar.
We appreciate it.
That's awesome.
That's okay. Thank you. So next we have our Las Virgenes Creek restoration. So a request for proposals, or an RFP, was issued in July, and staff received proposals in September. The proposals were reviewed and will be reviewed at the November 13th City Council meeting. Council is expected to approve a PSA, or professional services agreement, with the selected contractor. Additionally, city staff applied for a funding opportunity with the Wildlife Conservation Board, or WCB, in August of 2024. Unfortunately, we were not awarded that grant for this project, but staff will continue seeking additional funding opportunities and sources. Lastly, we have our city's third creek walking tour that will be hosted at the Las Virgenes Creek on November 20th at 3 p.m., and the flyer is shown on this slide, also available on the city calendar.
Wait, can I just ask a question? Can you do me a favor and forward that to the student members so they can maybe bring it up to Roots and Shoots and ASB or whatever?
Yeah, that would be great. Thank you.
Next, we have some information on anticoagulant rodenticides. Commissioners had previously requested some information and further research on this item, so we wanted to provide an update to you all. So an anticoagulant rodenticide is a type of pesticide that's used to kill rodents like rats and mice, and these work by preventing the blood from clotting, which causes the rodents to eventually bleed out internally and die. Anticoagulant rodenticides pose a significant threat to non-target wildlife, such as birds of prey, foxes, and mountain lions. Animals risk secondary poisoning when they consume the affected rodents. So there are some pictures on this slide that explain the process of how these larger animals that are non-target wildlife, and how they embrace the effects of this chemical. So there are two different kinds of rodenticides. So there's first generation anticoagulant rodenticides that require multiple feedings over several days in order to be effective. And then there are second generation anticoagulant rodenticides, which are lethal with a single dose. So first, the City of Calabasas has a resolution that was adopted in 2013, Resolution 2013-1379, which was adopted in September of 2013, opposing the sale, purchase, and use of anticoagulant rodenticides in the City of Calabasas. And since then, there have been various assembly bills passed to regulate and control the use of ACRs. So in 2020, AB 1788, known as the California Ecosystems Protection Act, bans the use of second-generation anticoagulant rodenticides. Additionally, in 2023, AB 1322 was signed, which amended the Food and Agricultural Code to regulate the use of, I don't want to mispronounce it, but I'm really sorry. I apologize. This bill prohibits the use of, I can't pronounce that word, but it's bolded in the second sentence, in the second section here. And this bans the use of first-generation anticoagulant rodenticides in the wildlife habitat areas and statewide. This chemical is a first-generation anticoagulant rodenticide, and it requires multiple feedings over several days to be effective. One other key fact to note is that, as staff understands it, not all bait boxes contain anticoagulant rodenticides. Some contain other kinds of non-anticoagulant rodenticide or kill traps. Lastly, there is a new legislation signed by Governor Newsom in September of 2024, AB 2552, which is effective starting January 1st, 2025, and it expands the same effective prohibition on first-generation anticoagulant rodenticides to include additional chemicals. This bill amends the Food and Agricultural Guide to further regulate the use of anticoagulant rodenticides in California. The main goal of this assembly bill is to protect wildlife from harmful rodenticides and promote safer pest control methods. So this is the most recent update that we have to this item.
Can we comment on this?
We can comment at the conclusion. I have
Okay.
one more slide, and then we can go through Commissioner Communications. So lastly, our battery recycling program. The final box was presented during our August commission meeting, and staff is happy to announce that the collection boxes are available for residents and community members. Please visit our battery recycling site linked with the QR code, or email info@cityofcalabasas to request your own battery recycling box. With that being said, that concludes our informational updates. Thank you all for your time, and we'll
Thanks,
go into any
Melanie.
questions or comments you have.
Randy.
On the anticoagulant rodenticide, thank you so much for that, Melanis. I wanted just to follow up on an email that I sent with a draft, because it's been probably at least 5 to 8 years since the city sent out letters to local businesses and HOAs. And the way it is right now is there's still bait boxes all around all the businesses surrounding here, and most of them are labeled, and unfortunately they don't have snap traps inside, but there is a couple of ingredients that are still legal. I believe cholecalciferol baits and bromethalin is still legal, but at any rate, I think that most of these businesses just don't know, and they just need education. And part of the component of when I read the staff report was to do education. So I sent a draft sample just as a guide, and I wanted just to follow up and see what the next steps could be, or if we have to, I know we can't start a subcommittee, but if you need volunteers or whatever it is.
Sure, so that's a great comment. And is it an ask that staff look into sending out letters or some kind of, or promoting awareness about this?
That would be my request, is to send out letters, because it stopped a long time ago. And as we know, management changes at businesses, especially in retail and restaurants, often. So the people that were there 5 to 8 years ago are no longer there.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah, that's something we can follow up with at the next meeting. We'll look into it and report back.
Great, thank you so much.
Any other comments?
Yep.
Whitney.
Was the battery recycling box offered at the Pumpkin Festival?
I believe it was, yes.
Oh, yeah.
That when we comment on subcommittee reports, I can speak to that, because, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep. All right.
I have something to ask. I was approached by someone who wanted to know how we're recycling our batteries, and I was on the spot a little bit, because what I know is that we dispose of them properly. I don't know how to speak to the difference, is what I'm asking.
Sure. So we have the battery collection sites around the city at different city facilities. Public Works staff collects the batteries from those. We safely stockpile them, and I would say roughly every quarter we take them to a disposal site and properly dispose of them. And it's really just based on the quantity that we receive. If we receive enough, which would typically be roughly a truckload, pickup truck beds worth, within a month we're going to take that to be recycled. Yeah, so that would be the response.
Where is the facility that they're taken to? Locally, or is it kind of?
It is local. I don't know it off the top of my head. I can get that for you and provide it.
Cool.
So if residents want a battery recycling box, who do they call the receptionist, or info at, or how do?
Either or, they can call the reception desk and be forwarded to
And they're
myself.
prepared to
They
know?
can email info@cityofcalabasas, or they can go to our website.
Okay.
Might also be, for those of you who don't have one, you can get them here. So when we come for meetings, or you come to pick up plastic recycling, or when you come for any meetings, subcommittee meetings, maybe even tonight at the end of our meeting, if anybody wants one or two or three for friends.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're lovely. Any other staff questions, comments? Thank you guys very much for the update. Next order of business is informational subcommittee reports. So thank you. I know a lot of the subcommittees have been working really hard, so that's wonderful. Very exciting how active we are. I was at the Green Streets event, and I was talking to two of the city council members, and they were talking about how we are the most active commission. So hats off to all of us. Let's start off with number one, Pumpkin Festival. Larissa and Randy.
I'm sure it was successful. I was there for the last half of it, the half in the afternoon, and we had already run out of the giveaways by that. By about 1 o'clock, we were pretty much out of giveaways except for the bags. And what I was discovering, we had the students there the whole time. They were wonderful, and Randy and I worked to just separate our time there, but the draw was not there. The only thing I could do was put candy on the table, and then when kids walked by, they'd look and I'd say, you can have one if it's okay with your mom and dad, and if you promise to recycle when you go home. That's all I could think to do because we could not get people to, there was no attraction is what I'm trying, after 1 o'clock it was really, and the sun was in our face. That's the only other thing I wanted to say, that maybe next time we could prepare for that, because we've been in that location, I think, several years in a row. And by about noon, that sun is coming right at you. So I have pictures of Melina Watts was there in the afternoon. We're all doing this to try to talk to people. But I really feel like the year before we had something that people wanted to look at what it was there. Whatever it is, something to catch the eye is what seemed to be a talk point. So that's all I would change, is having a little bit more to engage people.
I think it was completely different in the morning hours. And in the morning, we had a lot more giveaways. We had all the seeds, and we had Waste Management gave us some stuff, and we had other stuff that Melanie put together. I just want to thank you, Treya, Curtis, the student commissioners. I think you were great. All the little kids seemed to gravitate towards you. And the highlight for me was we asked residents when they arrived what their environmental goals are for the city of Calabasas. And I was so impressed that so many of them have the same environmental core values that we all have. And they asked questions. They signed up for the Creek Tour on November 20th. And I know an email is going to go out to them. And these people were excited. So I think it was a little bit different, the morning hours versus the afternoon hours. Don't forget, it's a long pumpkin festival. I got there probably about 8:30, and you were there till 5, right? So it was a long day. And by the afternoon, I think the kids are all done. But in the morning, everyone seemed to have been excited. So I just wanted to say thank you to everyone that participated.
And thank you to our lovely commissioner volunteers for volunteering your time and being there throughout the Pumpkin Fest, assisting with the planning process. It was great to work with both of you.
I didn't make it, but I'm wondering, last year you had a really cool, talking about attraction, could we bring something like that back? Maybe you could talk about what that was, and could we do that again? Or?
Sure. I was fairly prepared to do that again, just kind of ad lib it. I had this sign. What it was for people who didn't know. Last year we had 2 posters there that I made out of old signs. They were all recycled materials. So they were old campaign signs that I spray painted, and then I just put some mountains on it and put topics that I thought we as a community care about. And then I made one for the kids that was about what can you do to be more environmentally sound, and the kids loved it. And the student commissioners, Navin, I believe it was in Navin and Noah, the kids would come to them standing next to this like they were heroes or celebrities. And so the boys were real good about engaging the kids, and they put a sticker where they thought was important. And the adults, I only had 3 out of, I forget what the total numbers were, but only 3 people came to complain to me. Everybody else wanted to just have their input on it. And they were willing to give their zip code so I could see who was local and who wasn't. But we this year, I had something almost ready to go, but there weren't any adults coming in the afternoon. They weren't approaching or even getting close. So I kind of bagged that and was just trying to walk around, talk to them. And I think a little glitter does a lot. So maybe next year we'll think of that, have something there.
Thank you guys again. Any comments, Pumpkin? We'll move
Yeah.
on to the next.
I'll say something.
Oh, I'm
I'll
sorry.
say something. So just being there, it was great to experience, and definitely being there for that, extended period of time. I definitely saw like the crowds change and shift, and it definitely slowed down after about noontime, obviously because of the kids. But unfortunately, I don't know, we weren't able to get the Next Trex box there because I know you want, Chair Cohen, I know you wanted to get that box over there. Unfortunately, we weren't able to grab one. But I think we had about 2 or 3 people. They did ask about our program once we put up the pounds and the thermometer. So that was cool, and yeah, it was good. But I think next year we can definitely kind of spruce things up a little bit and make it a lot more interactive.
Yeah, we did. We put up that makeshift one because I had 2 of the posters that you had. So we just taped them to the table or an empty box so it looked like it. But that was a big mess there. Okay.
And one idea Larissa and I had to engage more kids was some kind of 3D art component where we could have kids add on recycled materials that they found throughout the Pumpkin Festival, and we could turn it into something, and then towards the end the kids would realize that they created something out of recycled materials.
That sounds like a great idea. Thank you, Kevin.
Cool. Ray, did you want to chime in at all?
Oh, yeah, I just wanted to say, the handouts that we got from Melanice and also the flower seeds, they were really helpful. I just loved seeing, when kids would learn, when I would tell them that the bags that we handed out were actually made from recycled plastics, they were kind of wowed at that. And they just also love to, learn about the flower seeds and stuff like that.
Excellent.
I think having the student commissioners there is a big draw. So you have to do it again next year because the little kids look up to you guys and they want to learn from you. So thank you.
Thank you all. Thank you all. Next subcommittee, calendar contest. Beth and Larissa. Larissa,
I feel like we already covered that.
on. Nicely done.
Cool.
Any other comments? Stay tuned until next meeting when we talk about next topics. Thank you both. Student involvement and engagement. Larissa again. Damn, girl.
Okay. This is the best part because
Bring it.
This is golden in our city. I want to say that much, okay? These young people, I haven't really done much but support them in their efforts. And we, as the adults or the environmental commissioners, show up at Calabasas High, and the teachers are already ready for us. They're already up behind something, and we just have to come and say, well, we'd like to see how this goes. And we have the Bags for Benches program that they started, and it has just taken off. I have to tell people, not yet, I can't bring you a box. We're working on it because on the west side of town, people are ready to get engaged. And the school district has been wonderful. But Dr. Stepanowski told us, I'll let you do it here at the district offices, provided you follow 2 different conditions. One is it will not overfill and be an eyesore. The other is no bugs or pests. And these guys have been so responsible. When it's full, they get a call, they're there that day. It's been wonderful to be involved. So that's one project that's going. That's really been successful, and the kids, it seems like we have a lot of students who want to be involved over there.
Yeah. Besides these 3, there are a few others that are involved as well. Why don't each of you just talk generally, and then Larissa and I can talk about some of the other things with this subcommittee.
I think we were going to talk a little bit more during our student updates, so I'll save some for that. But I just wanted to add that we're getting close to our goal, and it's really exciting to see the plastic build up.
Yeah, absolutely. It's great to see all this plastic and how all of these places are willing to get involved and are so community driven. And it's been great to add these new locations, and I hope we can add more if we start to expand. And I just want to give a quick shout out to Michael and Logan, who have been really working hard too, especially Michael, been picking up district office. I see every single week, 30 plus pounds every single week, sometimes 2 times a week, so it's been incredibly impressive.
I just wanted to say, like, the community involvement and everyone that's participating is just amazing. Like, we installed a bin at the senior center a few weeks ago, and I checked on it like after just a week. It was already almost full. And yeah, just stuff like that. The community involvement is great.
So the comment I want to make on it is that a lot of the reason that we've got that, I agree with you guys. Everybody said. Part of the reason we have that community involvement is thanks to staff. And the video that the guys upstairs made is fantastic. Some of the seniors saw that. A couple of them reached out to Mayor Weintraub. She passed them on to me. Next thing we knew, we had a bin in the senior center. And as Ray said we're collecting from them every week. And so much so that they spoke with me and have organized a senior environmental task force out of the senior center. So
that's awesome to hear.
Isn't that exciting? So we have, not only do we have the student community members and the youth, and look at our recycling poster all the way down to kindergarten, we've got seniors who are stepping up and trying to be more involved. And there's going to be more and more projects with them, so stay tuned for some of that. But yeah, again, I want to thank staff very much. That video was so professional, and all the students are in it, and it's been really fun. And we, as a matter of fact, we spoke at the district office, and at that presentation, the district includes Calabasas and Agora, and students from Agora High School asked if they could be involved. And happy to report that I'm meeting with the mayor and another city council member in Agora, and we're going to be starting trying to help them start an environmental commission and a plastic recycling program there as well. So that's hats off to all of you guys. And as Larissa says, this has been driven by especially students at the high school, the district, and they're helping to inspire citizens of all ages.
That's great news. Thank you.
I also want to shout out to Ralph's and Albertsons, our 2 grocery stores on both sides of town. They have been phenomenal partners in this, because Michael and I showed up at Albertsons during a rush with these 2 big bags of plastic, and the manager saw us and said, hey, just put them in a cart. We'll take care of them later, you guys. And they have been so welcoming. So that's another community support.
That's an excellent point. And there are 7 locations right now, including here at City Hall, and the school, the high school, the school district has 2 actually, because they collect so much. But also at the senior center and at Fazio's Cleaners in the Commons, and at
Franklin's Hardware.
At Franklin's Hardware,
which is just on the border, but they do collect, and yeah.
So nice. If you are in any of these establishments, make sure you thank them and make sure that you check the bins and let us know if they're getting full, because we do have to keep getting over there and keeping them emptied. Other items on this subcommittee, Larissa? Yeah, go for it.
This kind of loops on to the calendar contest that we just did. And I should probably let Student Commissioner Gavin Tesser talk about it, but I'd like to say we leave the high schoolers out of this contest. 9th grade through 12th, there's really not anything going on there. And Gavin has come up with this idea, and it looks really nice because it would be recycled art incorporated into a lesson plan. And he's gotten the art teachers behind it at Calabasas High. And if there was a way that we could loop a project like that on, so it's still recycled theme, it's still incorporating all that, it'll be at a higher level, certainly. But it merits us looking at it because we want to work in collaboration with all of these people. And as they get to the high school level, they're looking at jobs, they're looking at careers and futures. And this is an opportunity for us to promote environmental awareness and just drive it home after all this other stuff that we've done. So as a commission, we're trying to change old habits, not just have contests. We want to get people to think differently and behave differently. Reduce their waste. Start thinking before you buy all this stuff, or where are you putting it? And this is an opportunity to get all the high schoolers involved. And Agora at some point, we have residents here that go to school in Agoura at Agoura High, but all of the kids seem to want to do more, and this is an opportunity maybe to involve the older kids. I just think it's a great idea. And you want to tell them a little bit about it?
Yeah, so I was also going to talk more about this in my student update, but we've had multiple conversations with the art department at Calabasas, and they're on board, so we're basically just working towards extending the environmental art awareness to the high school level.
Yeah, I'll just chime in since I'm on this subcommittee, and this is something, so this is specifically, and Gavin will talk about it more during their presentation, but the idea is trying to have an art contest with recycled materials, recycled themes, and as Gavin says, the art teacher who has a science background is just ideal and is actually looking to assign this to all art students and ultimately a contest, and there'll be awards, and it's just very, very exciting that just as we've inspired, I think you were saying earlier, 1,500 drawings, which last year was 1,400, and a couple years ago it was 1,200. And so in the same way, there's no reason to stop at 8th grade. So I'm excited about this, and my thought, again, this is just informational, but my hope would be that we would ultimately maybe endorse this as a commission, and maybe we get it agendized at the next meeting if there is interest in that, and bring back that support so that this collaboration of the school and the city together in concert would help. I spoke to the city council member, James Bazagian, who was talking about potentially trying to put some of the winning art up at the Calabasas Community Center, sorry. So, I mean, there's just wonderful opportunities to collaborate, to work together, and Gavin will report more on this later, but it's very exciting. And I think that all of this is resulting in more engagement with students. And I guess you guys can talk more at your presentations, but I know that the principal and the school site council are definitely more engaged in what's going on with the city. Any other questions about this subcommittee or comments? All right, next subcommittee, Flora for the Future, Beth and Randy.
Well, I'll say that Randy has worked so hard, sending emails, trying to get this going, trying to figure it out, but we made progress, so do you want to?
Well, a big thank you goes to Melanis because you actually connected with Alexa at the Las Virgenes Municipal Water District. So I'd like to could I turn it over to Melanis to give an update on what she has offered to you and how we can move forward?
Absolutely. So we've secured a donation of 1 pound of wildflower seeds that we can distribute into packets on our own for the subcommittee. So you can move forward how you choose with that 1 pound donation of wildflower seeds that we can distribute to the community.
Yeah, Alexa was saying that in the past what they did was they had an event honoring someone, and they gave out the wildflower seeds in like little packets there. So we could piggyback off that idea, brainstorm some ideas. I'm sure it will.
Yeah, I think that's an excellent idea, and we're open to the other suggestions from the other commissioners and student commissioners on how we can evolve with the donation from the Las Virgenes Municipal Water District.
Put on your.
How about packaging them and giving them to the teachers of Las Virgenes School District? Thank you for helping our students grow.
That's true, because I think Teachers Appreciation Week is sometime in May, and maybe that is a good goal for us. So Beth, you and I can connect on that. Thank you so much, Whitney.
I have a question. Were they or some organization giving out milkweed? Would it be? I thought there was. Oh, I would love to get more.
Yeah, because that did not come up in any emails.
Did not. God, I'd love to get milkweed, but that's separate. Well, thank you guys so much. Appreciate it. Look forward to hearing more good news, hopefully at our next meeting. Next is the Environmental Forum. David and Randy. You want to start? You want me to start?
Comment, David, and let you
I
know
can-
that we also have a discussion for the forum, so you can just discuss your meeting briefly, and then we can go into the specific voting
Oh.
of the items in the next agenda item.
Okay. Okay, all right. So we've been meeting, which is very exciting.
Yeah, we had a meeting at City Hall, and we discussed some topics for the Environmental Forum, and I believe it's going to be on Thursday, February 20th, 2025, and it's going to be at Founders Hall.
If we approve it.
If we approve it this evening. And I had suggested that we do the Environmental Forum this year on the Wallace-Annenberg Wildlife Crossing Bridge. And the reason being is that it is being built. Everybody passes it on a daily basis. Now, some people may think, well, hey, it's in Agora. But we're one exit away. And as I said to David and Curtis and Melanis, is that our wildlife does not have boundaries. And our wildlife is Agora's wildlife. And what other way to celebrate, biodiversity and wildlife conservation that is going to be a groundbreaking beacon of hope for us. And it's being emulated and copied around the world now. I spoke with Beth Pratt, who is the California director for the National Wildlife Federation, and I'm hopeful that we'll approve it this evening because I believe that we can bring her in to speak. And she's been on a national circuit right now, international circuit. She's going to be going to New York. Everybody wants to copy the Wallace-Annenberg Wildlife Crossing Bridge. David?
No, look, I think that's great. I mean, we all love that. I gave a tour of that 9 months ago and hoping to do another tour. But we'll talk more about this and hope to get support for the forum at the next item of business.
Can I say something?
Yeah, please.
I just want to speak to the fact that it is in Agora technically, but Las Virgenes is a wildlife corridor. And when they were doing the scoping studies for this, they had 3 corridors: Las Virgenes, that one, and then like Chesbro, the next one. And these 3 staying fluent and open is important for the success of this project. So it matters for our city very much. So thank you.
Do any of you know who the engineer was for the wildlife crossing?
Sam is the on-site engineer, and the man who's his boss, I could get you his name if you'd like to talk to him. They're real
let's talk
approachable,
to him.
real nice guys.
Yeah, okay.
Skylar, you were there when we did the tour, right?
Yeah, I was there. Was he there? I believe he spoke a little bit.
It was Clark Stevens, I think, was the guy that
He was the architect.
gave
Yeah.
the tour. But right.
Clark Stevens, okay.
All right, I'm going to move on. Unless there are any other comments. No. The next one is the is the Arbor Day. Beth and Whitney. We got some.
Yeah, there's nothing to update on that at the time.
Okay. Earth Day. Whitney and Larissa.
We haven't discussed it yet, but I spoke with Mayor Weintraub this weekend. There was the Mayor's Youth Council hosted a flea market, and it just looked really good. It was really pleasant to walk around there, and for as long as I've been on this commission, I've always asked to have the Earth Day Festival there, and I'll maintain that it's just a sophisticated and lovely way to explore booths, and it's a better location. It just is, and I'd like to encourage us to not have an Earth Day celebration that's from 2 to 4 or 2 to 5, because it's just difficult to get vendors to sign up for that. Any vendor who's interested in that realm of Earth Day, they're not going to do a 4-hour event as much as they would do an all-day event. And I think if it was at City Hall, it would bring in a lot more residents. So that's my input.
Great. Where was that? I'm sorry. Here?
It was right
Just
here
here?
at City Hall, right here, outside. It was gorgeous.
Where we used to do farmers markets? Was that what, like over in the parking
No,
lot?
like right outside.
Right
the
here.
Oh, between here and the library?
Nice.
Yeah.
Oh,
Okay,
oh, oh.
nice.
It looked amazing.
Is that something maybe staff could work with the subcommittee and see if location is flexible
Exactly.
or?
Yeah, I would suggest that we meet as a subcommittee.
Yep.
Okay.
Fortunately, we have a little bit
I'll-
of time.
Yeah,
but
in the meantime, I'll try to get some more information on that.
Thank you very much. Great comment. Any other Arbor Day, Earth Day?
And
Green,
Just real quick to clarify,
Sorry.
so that's moving it to City Hall and making it all day for the Earth Day. Okay.
And as I recall, I don't know if somebody can look that, I'll look it up. We talked about this and thought that because the hillsides, because the other side of town off Las Virgenes there where we've been having it, is so easy to send people right to the creek, or they can walk right down and go to the creek and see some of the stuff that we've been doing. They can also look at the hillsides and we can talk about open space and I think that's, I think that's why, because it came up before. Is that a best location? That's why we've gone back and forth across Segura Road there. And I think it was about just what's right there available, so.
My reply would just be that, like, you did the Pumpkin Festival, and people signed up for the Creek Tour.
Yeah.
So if we had the Earth Day Festival at City Hall.
We could do this.
Yeah, people
Good
say,
point.
hey, you gotta check out our
Nice point.
upcoming Creek Tours. These are the dates, da-da-da, sign the email list.
We'll continue discussions with the subcommittee, with staff, and we'll explore your options further as well.
thanks very much. Next subcommittee report is going to be Larissa and Whitney, and that is Green Business Certification Program.
We're ready to get going on that, but we've talked about it and thought it might be a good idea for the first of the year. We could come out real big at the first. There's been so much going on with our commission that it's been hard to get it all in. But I think once we have some standards from you guys, what we're looking for, what we can offer to businesses, we'd be happy to go start pounding the pavement. But we thought that might be a good New Year start for that one.
Maybe in December.
Yeah, sure.
Great. Thank you very much. Any other comments on any of these? Otherwise, let's move into item number 5, discussion of the 2025 Environmental Forum. As we started talking about a little while ago, Randy and I are on this subcommittee, and we've been meeting with Curtis and Melanice, and we've been having an annual forum for most years other than COVID, and it's been very successful at Founders Hall, and we're looking to do that again. Staff has secured a date and time, and so ultimately, if we're going to approve it, we're going to need to have a vote at the end of this discussion. But first, we did want to discuss the topic and kind of get everybody's feedback based on some of the discussions that the subcommittee has come up with so far. I'll just jump right in. There were basically 3 areas that we thought we would have on the forum, and it would be kind of a panel discussion. I had asked former city council member and mayor Fred Gaines if he would help by moderating, and he said he'd be honored to. But the topics that we were looking at that Randy and I both think would be really exciting and would attract people also. That was a big thing. Is getting the room full. Students have been critical for this in past years when it was at Founders Hall, and the first one was on the wildlife crossing, which is supposed to be opening imminently, and so the wildlife crossing, staff updates on all the exciting programs. There was mention of the green streets, of creek cleanup, of a lot of various things going on within the city that would be exciting to hear more about. A lot of the citizens don't know about this stuff. You live on Las Virgenes, you see that, but I used to go running there. I didn't even know about it until, and I'm on the Environmental Commission. So it's really exciting to hear all the exciting things staff are doing. And then the third one was all the stuff we're doing. All the stuff we're talking about tonight to an empty room, the city commission, subcommittees, all the reports, all the programs, and just kind of toot our own horn a little bit for all the things we're accomplishing and get resident input on what things they would like to see. So I welcome more comments and thoughts on that, but again, it would be a panel discussion, experts on all of these things, the wildlife crossing and how it impacts our greater community. Bless you.
Bless you.
Comments, Randy, Curtis, Melanie, any? Oh, Larissa.
Is this the time to throw out trees, if I really care about trees? Because we get benches built, but we need shade. I mean, without shade, we're not going to make it. And I just think at some point, I mean, it used to be a tree board, that the Environmental Commission was a tree board. I don't know if we still are or what that's about, but I would love to see trees come.
We're a tree city. So
there you go. That'd be cool.
Yeah, and I think what you're alluding to is this commission was the tree board originally.
Okay.
Yeah, you're right. And then it morphed into the Environmental Commission later.
Cool, okay. So I would love to see trees at the Environmental Forum. It's something about planting trees, keeping them, caring for them so that they don't get out of control, but we need shade, especially with our summers getting to be hotter and hotter. It's my 2 cents.
So just as Randy and I talked to I think 4 of the 5 city council members, and we got different input from each one as to what they would like and suggest for the forum, ranging from fire issues to there were just a whole bunch of different issues, and we're trying to. So that was part of the reason that I think the idea of highlighting some of the resources from the city and the commission kind of came up, is because if people want to know more about trees or water or solar or electric vehicle charging,
So kind of no theme this year. In the past, there's always been a theme. No theme?
Well, it would kind of just generally be about the successes and the programming that goes on. But again, if
And
you want to.
think that will get people in?
Well,
I think from what I remember from the meetings, the overarching theme is it's starting off with the wildlife crossing, and that will feed into other issues around wildlife. There's just going to be other topics discussed as well. But I think in some ways they were listed in, I'll call it priority order, right? So the headline is the wildlife and the wildlife crossing and how we live with wildlife. And then there are going to be staff updates and commission updates that come in later as part of the forum.
And one thing that, when I was speaking with my council member, Pro Tem Kraut, he said that it was very timely because of the fact that there was a recent mountain lion attack in Calabasas on September 3rd of this year. So what was that, 2 months ago? And as you're looking on Facebook or Nextdoor, people are always posting now that they see mountain lions in their backyard. And you can always tell because it's got the dark tip at the bottom of the tail as opposed to a bobcat. But what other way is a good way to make this an educational forum when we can talk about, when we have the experts from, whether it be from the National Wildlife Federation, National Park Service wildlife biologists, to encompass all of that into the forum. And also we can address climate change and how it affects the different species. And it could be education, and with an emphasis on promoting and discussing the wildlife crossing at the same time.
We had 2 groups speaking, and it took up all the time. Like, this is great, but if you had somebody come speak to the wildlife crossing, that could take the entire time. It's a big deal with lots involved and lots of questions, I'm sure. So maybe it is better to streamline it, pick something to embolden, because there would, people aren't going to stay for 4 hours, I don't think.
No.
Just
But I think the idea of the other ideas was, again, wildlife crossing and exciting environmental initiatives in Calabasas, in and around Calabasas, I guess was kind of where we were going. But that way is as much or as little. But again, if we could call it whatever we want, I mean, this is the time to discuss it. And
Well, something that's coming to mind is that it's not the MRT, but the, what's it called now? The tree people? They
No.
they have workshops over the summer, like how to take care of rattlesnake prevention. That might fit into the wildlife forum if they came and spoke about, they have like clinics for your dogs if they, something about like how dogs
Tree
protect
people-
themselves from the rattlesnakes.
So Tree People took over Mountain Restoration Trust.
Yeah.
So it's all been
So that
folded
seems like it
together.
would be
A speaker from there.
A speaker, just staying within the wildlife
Theme.
I think is easy to focus on.
So-
And interesting.
And they could also touch on
So
your
what
truck.
David was saying was that we could use outside of Founders Hall for the vendors. Now, when he says vendors, it's not somebody who's a commercial vendor, but somebody, like you said, that teaches dogs, not dogs, but teaches people what to do if their dogs are bitten by a rattlesnake. And maybe they do have services, but they're not engaging them to set up contracts there, but they're engaging them on education. I think it's a great idea, Whitney.
I think that's a great focus, is we can help people find the resources that they're looking for during that forum.
Right.
And since this is a big topic, there's a lot of agencies that we could not have here, but refer to or highlight in that. You guys, that would be a neat thing.
Yeah, I mean, if you've got a booth, for instance, Tree People, right, that includes Mountain Restoration Trust, they have information on trees, where we don't necessarily have to talk about
Correct.
trees without saying, here's a resource,
They
right, or here's,
covered everything last year. I mean, these two presenters covered everything. It was beautiful.
I thought it was great.
Yeah.
but
me
there
too.
were actually three, because it was, one
Three
was
people.
Hail the Bay.
Yes.
It was the mountains and the wildlife, and then it was,
The
again, a
rescue.
staff update. So
Yeah.
I think that's for me,
Okay.
because we want to let people, again, we're talking to an empty room, and we want to get more people to recycle plastic, or name the topic, whatever it is. How do we get them to do it, other than having our meetings here? Because of Brown Act, we can't talk about this and vote on it and initiate things. We could do it at a public forum. So to me, that's an exciting place to highlight our accomplishments, frankly. I mean, we're sitting here and thanking staff and patting ourselves on the back and taking on new and exciting projects.
Good point.
All right, so I will pass this to Melanice, because I think we're at a point where we should entertain a motion. Is there more discussion? Students, anybody else want to say anything related to this forum?
Yeah, you could probably get a lot more student involvement that way if we definitely kind of flaunt our accomplishments and things, because our whole goal here is also to really teach the next generation and try to inspire others as well to do the commission.
And adding on to that, I believe Dr. Bennett last year gave extra credit for students attending. So if we're able to have teachers do the same thing this year, and also it could be a good idea maybe to give out the seeds at the forum. Especially if Tree People comes, we can give it out with them, and then they can incorporate the education aspect.
Yeah. And historically, the last several years, there were Roots and Shoots had a booth where they were selling succulents as a fundraiser.
Is the date finalized?
It will be if we vote tonight. It's
Because last year, just remember that our commissioners had to leave for another event. So with the mayors
You mean the city council members?
and our student commissioners, everyone left. So let's just make sure. That's all.
I looked at the calendar, and there was a planning commission meeting that evening, but I didn't see anything else listed on February 20th.
Commissioners, I did want to remind you we're voting on 3 items tonight. We're voting on the date, the location, and the topic.
Perfect.
We can expand and choose different exhibitors at a later time. That's not something that needs to be discussed during this meeting or the specific items that we'll cover, but if we have an overarching topic, our location and the date, the subcommittee will work with us and provide periodic updates to the commission
And
as
what
we
was the
make further
date
advancements.
proposed? February 20th?
Thursday, February 20th.
And does that look clear to the student commissioners? I'd hate to have you leave. 'Cause
Just to
that-
clarify, February
February
20th?
20th.
Is it all going to be all day event?
No,
Evening.
evening.
Oh, it's evening? Okay.
2 hour.
6 to 8, right, David?
Melanie, 6 to 8, yeah. Correct, thank you.
And that includes the post-forum time where people gather and sell the stuff.
Yeah, if that includes, so is it Like, is there going
Or
to be
are
like
the
setup
Starts
time,
at-
cleanup time, things
It's
like
kind
that?
of like our meetings are 6 to 8.
Oh,
Okay.
Okay.
as long-
Exhibitors might set up a little bit earlier.
Okay.
Yeah,
But you don't have to be there for that bit.
Okay. Yes, you do. Thank you for clarification.
All right, should we
You know,
entertain a motion for?
One thing I
Oh, yeah,
just want to
please.
bring up is that right now, the wildlife crossing, as much as it looks like it's almost done, it still will not be done until the end of 2025 or possibly 2026. So we have to keep that in mind. But I know personally, everyone's asking about it, and nobody knows anything. They're like, well, when's it going to get done? What do we need to do? The biggest question people ask is, how do wildlife know to go to the bridge? So I think it's going to be a fabulous topic.
I agree.
Excellent. So, I will entertain a motion. Melanie, since I'm on the subcommittee and I'm going to vote on this, I probably just can I let you pass that to staff to entertain the motions and?
Well, it would be best if one of the commissioners
do
made
it.
the motion.
Motion, right.
I'd like to make a motion to have our environmental forum on February 20th.
And are you seeking a
I'm just
separate?
doing the date.
We can do two motions. We can do the date and the time in Founders Hall. So we can say we have a motion for Thursday, February 20th from 6 to 8 p.m. at Founders Hall. And then we can do a second motion for the topic if you would like to separate it.
Didn't you
Sure.
say there's a planning commission meeting that evening?
Yeah, there is a planning commission that evening.
That would
planning
be
commission
here.
meeting that evening.
Not
So
Founders Hall.
it doesn't matter? It's not an issue? Okay.
Is it?
No,
we think?
not that.
I don't foresee that being an issue
Perfect.
with our
Okay.
event.
Cool.
All right, sorry, so forget my last motion. I'd like to make a motion to host our environmental forum on February 20th from 6 to 8 p.m. here at Founders Hall.
No. Oh, yeah.
I'll second that motion.
Wonderful. I will go through a roll call now. Chair Cohen,
Yes.
Vice Chair Schwartz,
Yes.
Commissioner Jactiani,
Yes.
Commissioner Feilish.
Yes.
Wonderful. So the motion passes. Did I call everybody?
No?
Commissioner
Yes.
Commissioner Byrne, my apologies.
That's okay, yes.
So the motion passes for the date, the time, and the location for the 2025 Environmental Forum. Next, we will vote on the topic. I will allow the commissioners to entertain a motion.
I'd like to make a motion that we titled the forum on February 20th, 2025, Get to Know Our Local Wildlife or Understanding the Wildlife Crossing. That theme.
I second that.
And just to clarify, I know you had mentioned the verbiage that this will be the topic. I mean, this will be the title of the event.
Yeah.
Are you flexible to having an alternative name, making that the
Yes.
topic of the event?
Concept is the wildlife crossing.
Yes.
So we have a motion to focus on the wildlife crossing and additional items that were mentioned during the meeting. And we have a first from Vice
And
Chair
exciting
Schwartz
things
and a
happening in
second from
Calabasas.
Commissioner Feilish.
Excellent.
Is that correct?
Yes.
Correct.
Okay, and I will now do a roll call for the approval of this topic. Chair Cohen,
Yes.
Vice Chair Schwartz.
Yes.
Commissioner Byrne,
Yes.
Commissioner Jactiani,
Yes.
and Commissioner Feilish.
Yes.
Wonderful. So we have a topic, location, and a date for the 2025 Environmental Forum. Congratulations.
Thank you very much. Next order of business is the December meeting, which there's lots of things already planned for that meeting, so I'm really hoping we're having that meeting. Is,
Is that a motion?
Yes,
well, it's open to public comment. So we're talking about, what's the date? We're talking about December 10th?
December 10th, 2024 will be a Tuesday, and the same commission time, it would be 6 to 8 p.m. And during that meeting, we'll be awarding and celebrating the recipient of the Carl Gibbs Environmental Excellence Award and the 14 artists who were selected for our 2025 recycling calendar.
And coming up with a new theme for the
And discussing the
potentially,
theme.
yeah, it's going to be a very robust meeting, but we need to actually calendar the meeting.
Commissioners had previously asked staff to look into a date for a December special meeting, which we discussed during our August meeting. Staff went through and worked with commissioners and the city calendar to try to determine a date that would work best. It seems like December 10th on this Tuesday would work best. Now we're entertaining a motion to see if this date works for the commissioners and if you'd like to move forward with a special meeting for December.
I'd really like to have a special meeting in December.
Is that a motion, Commissioner Byrne?
I would like to make a motion that we have a special meeting in December on the 10th, if we could.
I second that.
Wonderful. We have a first from Commissioner Byrne and a second from Commissioner Jactiani. I will now do a roll call. Chair Cohen?
Yes.
Vice Chair Schwartz?
Yes.
Commissioner Byrne?
Yes.
Commissioner Jactiani?
Yes.
And Commissioner Feilish?
Yes.
Wonderful. We have approval for hosting our December 10th special meeting here at City Hall, and we will move forward to the next agenda item.
Excellent. Just making sure it's in my calendar. Please, everybody, make that on your calendar. It's going to be a busy meeting. Let's see, December special meeting. Finally, communications, commissioner reports. Who would like to go first? Beth?
Is this different than subcommittee report? Oh, this is me
Yes.
telling you about what I've been doing and thoughts and
Yes.
everything.
This is your commissioner report.
I'm good right now.
Oh, good. Whitney?
Same, good right now, working on things and not anything to update.
Randy, what you got?
I went not as an environmental commissioner, but as a resident of Calabasas for 33 years. I went to the city council meeting on October 23rd, and I raised the issue that the council should consider adopting a ban on rodent glue traps. I personally saw behind King's restaurant about 8 months ago a full-size tray, which is a commercial one that was about this long, and it could have actually trapped a cat or an owl or a hawk or any type of small breed animal. And they did move it, but since then their management has changed. And the point is that the city of West Hollywood adopted a ban on glue traps, as did the city of Ojai, and we're environmental stewards here. And we're not reinventing the wheel. We would just be adopting a humane practice as other cities have done. So I'm encouraging the city council to adopt it, and I just wanted to bring it up. I know that you guys were at the meeting when I spoke, but I wanted to let everyone know in case you didn't see it at the meeting.
Teresa, you want to go?
I think that's important. I see these traps everywhere, and I've seen animals dying slowly next to them, and I don't think we have enough support to go. I've approached businesses, and you get the runaround and all that. So if we had a little bit more strength in that, it would be nice. And David and I have been doing a lot on our student task force, and these young people, I have restored my faith. They have really great ideas, and they're thinking so globally on such a bigger scale than I ever did. So it's nice to work with them, and the school has been phenomenal. The teachers are really behind all of these ideas, and I hope we'll get behind them as well. Thanks.
Thanks, Larissa. I'm actually going to let the students speak, and then I'll just make a couple of quick comments at the end. You guys want to give your presentation?
Chair Cohen, if we could just get through the rest of the commissioners and then we can move on to the students, we would prefer that if possible.
All right, I'm just going to,
And
yeah, I mean, my comment is just,
You can comment after their presentation if you'd like to, after the students' presentation. If you wanted to add any additional notes after they share their updates, you're welcome to do so.
Just,
all right.
we're just asking you to give your report now.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. I'm going to, based on the time, I'm just going to go ahead and say we're doing great. I think you guys are all aware of everything that's going on, and more to report in December. So we'll go to the students.
Yeah, we have a presentation prepared to share our thoughts. So starting out with like our shared updates. So to begin, we've been working on bags for benches in the student engagement subcommittee. And we previously had locations at City Hall, Calabasas High, the LVUSD district office, but now we have 3 new locations at the Calabasas Senior Center, Fazio Dry Cleaners, and Franklin's Hardware. And I'll hand it off to Ray and Skylar to talk a little bit more.
And I just wanted to emphasize the progress. Currently, we're at 357 pounds. It is a typo on there. Sorry about that. So we're about 36% the way, only in 3 months. And remember, we have 12 months in this period, so we are way ahead of schedule, and it's coming along. We're going to get that bench soon. And I'm going to hand it over to Skylar.
Yeah, I just wanted to reiterate a major point, and that is, I have a couple visuals. I want to reiterate a major point that the plastic item needs to be denoted by a number 2 or 4 surrounded by a triangle and the words LDPE. And LDPE stands for low density polyethylene material, and it should stretch like this. It should stretch like in your hand a little bit by hand. If it's not stretchable, similar to something like this is like a plastic grip sheeting. I've seen this thrown away in a couple of the bins, and this does not count, even though it looks like bubble wrap, but it does not count, unfortunately. Passing it off to Ray. You have anything else to say?
No, we're going to pass it over to Gavin for his personal updates.
Yeah, so this is my personal update. So to begin, I've been working with Denise Kane from Waste Management to start a composting program at Calabasas High School and then expand that to the rest of LVUSD because they have composting in the cafeterias, but this would primarily expand on-site composting for students. And then also, as we've been talking about Pencil to Planet, I've met with Ms. Lynch multiple times, and we've realized that the commission and Pencil to Planet's motives really align really well. So now we're working together to try to launch this program. And here are just some examples of artwork using recycled materials, similar to what we would require in the art contests.
Did you make that shopping bag?
Well, it's a real paper shopping bag, and then I glued receipts on it, and then I drew on paper, and then I put it all together.
Is that your picture?
Well, yeah, it's a self-portrait.
Great.
Yeah, these are both my pieces. And then I was also selected for the United States Youth Action Council for the United Nations Ocean Decade recently. And we're going to go to DC, Washington, DC in April to advocate and lobby for climate action with lawmakers. And I've also been working with the California Environmental Protection Agency to establish the California Environmental Youth Advisory Council. And there may be a big announcement coming soon on that. And then also my AP research project, it's like a research class where we have to conduct a research project, and I'm focusing on how the older adults perceive recycled potable water, which is drinkable recycled water. And basically I'll be taking the adults through a tour of the Las Virgenes Municipal Water District, and I'll give them a pre and a post-test survey to see how their perceptions of recycled water change as a result of that tour. And then I'll provide a policy recommendation to the water district of what they can better do to address that age group's misconceptions about recycled water. And now I'll hand it over to Ray to talk about his personal updates.
So here's my personal updates. So first, here are some Roots and Shoots updates of the Roots and Shoots Club at Calabasas. So we are beginning a project of the Coyote Trail revitalization. This is kind of similar to the creek, obviously on a lesser scale, but we're going to include many steps and certain phases. Our first kind of step is to clean up the litter. Every day I walk up this trail to go to school, and I see so much litter, so much trash. So we have it scheduled for Saturday the 23rd. We're going to gather some volunteers and go and clean this trail for a good 2 hours. And then we have future steps that I wanted to talk about. One is kind of connecting to that Flora for the Future thing. I had an idea of probably further in the project, but planting native plants. So maybe donating some of those flowers would be good, stuff like that. And then moving on, we're kind of increasing bags for benches on campus. So Miss Sneed, the AP Environmental Science teacher, is going to host a homeroom contest where she's going to see which of her classes can raise the most plastic, and she's going to weigh it and then award them with extra credit. So that's just kind of a way to get students involved in our project. And an important announcement is that Roots and Shoots has some money to spend. So if you go to the next slide. Currently, we have about $2,000, and I just wanted to kind of give you guys this QR code that if you scan, it opens up to a Google form where you can kind of give us some recommendations on a meaningful project that we can donate to the school. Currently, our number one kind of option is a hydration station that we've been talking with Mr. Watke, the principal, about. It would probably go on the upper quad, but we're open to other ideas. We kind of just want to see everything, kind of weigh out all the options just so we can see where we want to put this money toward. And I'll give you guys a little to scan that. Is everyone good on that? Okay, next slide. And now I'm also in AP Research with Mr. Bowman in the AP Capstone program. So here's my project. My project is about researching the effectiveness of sustainability plans in high schools. Now, sustainability plans are kind of a framework implemented by organizations to improve their environmental footprint through various policies. So Calabasas High School does not have one, and that's kind of what inspired me to conduct this project. And this would kind of be looking at 4 schools, 2 schools with plans and 2 schools without, to kind of compare and draw the bridge and find the gaps. And I would be interviewing 8 administrators and surveying around 100 students. And I'm also looking to collaborate with Dr. Stepanowski to assess Calabasas High with the final goal of policy change and getting a sustainability plan at Calabasas High. And also, here's kind of an independent research project that I did. I attended this summer program over the summer. It was the Global Health Leaders Conference at Johns Hopkins. And they have a kind of a thing that you can get accepted to. It's like a research symposium. So I researched kind of the environmental injustice impact on indigenous people's health around the world. And it got posted to YouTube recently, and I just wanted to share that. And now, there is one thing that I did not put on my updates because it's kind of far back. But since we've been talking about it a lot at this meeting, it's kind of similar to the Wallace-Annenberg Wildlife Crossing. So I mentioned it during the election for the commissioners, but me and Ben Orslan, we have this organization. It's called P22 Wildlife Awareness. And essentially, we go to like elementary schools and we teach these students about the crossing and P22, the famous mountain lion that inspired it all. So we had one really big presentation, like kind of at the start of summer at Manhattan Beach. It was with around like 150 kids. I just wanted to kind of put that out there because we've been talking about it recently. And that's it for me. I'm going to pass it on to Skylar.
Yeah. All right. Next slide. All right. So one of the biggest things, and I'm speaking on behalf of Logan Starr, who unfortunately could not make it because he has class. I've been doing research on this website that I found called Clear Results, and it's a Canadian-based company that also does U.S.-based things, and it's a nationwide sustainable energy company, and they focus on helping businesses and homeowners become more energy efficient and minimizing any additional costs to them. So they'll be sure to subsidize funding for inefficient lights, air conditioning, electric vehicle charging, and use of appliances. And they can help facilitate the transition to more energy efficient appliances and fixtures through the Homes Rebate Program, as you can see, which helps homeowners with low to moderate incomes transition to those more energy efficient appliances and lighting fixtures and things like that. And then another thing, almost more importantly, is their commercial rebate programs, which are partnered with Southern California Edison, and their Public Energy Performance Program, which helps commercial businesses actually receive free energy assessments, additional funding, and on-bill financing with zero interest through the Strategic Energy Management Program, which is a nationwide program that encourages businesses to become more green and environmentally friendly. And I want to encourage all businesses to take advantage of what Clear Results has here or any other programs that are involved with Southern California Edison. And yeah, And another thing I wanted to propose is that this is a future project that we can work on, and I wanted to hopefully receive the commission's backing on meeting with Mr. Dan Stepanowski and hoping that we can get LVSD involved with this great program here. That's it.
Great. Any questions for the students?
I just have to say I am so impressed with all three of you. That's amazing. Amazing work you guys are doing. So thank you.
Yeah, and then the rest of the slides are just things that all three of us have been involved in. As you can see, I volunteered at National Walk to School Day. And as you can see, I went to the Green Street ribbon cutting, which was awesome experience and shows how the environmental engineering has become commonplace in modern day engineering. And yeah, it definitely inspired me. And then I went to the Pumpkin Festival, which was a great success. And yeah. Gavin, Ray, do you have anything else to add on?
I was wondering, because I think at the forum, correct me if I'm wrong, after was when we met that guy who had the idea for the bags to benches. Was it not?
No, he's a neighbor of mine.
No, but it's morphed. And
I know it's morphed. I was just wondering if
Mr.
he
Tyler,
knew.
Humphrey Tyler was a
Yeah.
resident. Yes.
Because he presented what they were doing on the
I
east.
brought him to the forum. But he and I were already talking about this before.
Okay.
Yeah. He'll be back. He's bi-coastal. He'll be back next week. Any questions? I wish you guys would get a little more involved. Perhaps we can work on that second semester. Any thoughts? No?
I'll just echo what Randy said. The three of you are tremendous.
All right, so we have a meeting coming up in a month, thank goodness, and staff communications. Anything staff? Other than wanting me to stop bugging you guys?
No, nothing at this time.
I had a few quick comments. I just wanted to say thank you to our communications team for all your support, taking care of this meeting, making sure that our internet and computer is working without issue. And I also wanted to give a huge shout out to Treya for assisting me with the calendar contest grading. You saw that it was a strenuous process in that Excel document, so thank you, Treya. And that concludes my staff comments.
Great. All right, we will have another meeting in a few weeks. Please, if you have an opportunity, please speak to your city council members between now and then. Fill them in on everything you learned tonight. Otherwise, we are going to be adjourning this
Chair
meeting.
Cullen,
I think we
do
have
one
one
more agenda item.
Just to make it formal.
Oh, I'm sorry. Request for
agenda
future
items.
meeting items. Is that it?
I have a lot to add to that
I
because I've been
apologize.
taking
I totally
notes.
apologize.
I would like to, in the future, discuss our Carl Gribbs process and how we go about electing. And I would really hope that we as commissioners are more involved in that process. Also, I'd like to make a point to discuss featuring the winners of our calendar contest and where they are now and are focusing on 1 or 3 or however many. I think that would be really nice for community and continuous recognition.
Part of the calendar?
Yeah, like just a back page. Okay. And then I had a note, recycled art at high school level. I think we just need to figure out how to really support that. That was, I think we would love to support that.
Well, we have a subcommittee that's supporting that.
Okay, I thought we had to do it somehow at a commission level.
We do want to.
We do have to vote.
We do want
if
to
we
formalize
just-
that, but
yeah.
we can't do it unless it's agendized. So
So I'd like that to be on the agenda.
Nice.
that's an excellent suggestion.
Curtis, I want to just circle back. Does the letter to the HOAs of businesses, does that have to be agendized?
No, unless the commission wants to make that an agenda item and further discuss it and receive public comment. But if it's just a request to see if that's feasible, I can report back on that at the next meeting.
Why don't we-
Fantastic. Thank you.
Any other items any other things people would like to see future meetings? Presentations, we've talked about. Go
I
ahead.
have one. The seniors at the senior center were amazing. They rallied for the plastic program, and
Yeah.
they really want to be involved. So somehow,
There might be a point where, I mean, at this point, it's a task force. I don't know that we need to formalize it to a subcommittee, but I think hopefully they start showing up or giving input. I don't know that it rises to the level of subcommittee or whatever, but it might at some point. But it definitely encourage more, all these subcommittees can have more people involved. But, yeah, residents. But any other topic? We've had waste management, water district. You're going to give a presentation on that, maybe in the future. And if anybody comes up with anything else, make sure we put it on the agenda in the December 10th meeting.
Oh, and just for clarification, future agenda items, that we're going to do our best to bring it back December 10th. Something like maybe the Carl Gibbs process, if we can't, because we have about a month, if we can't get all the information that we need to have a thorough discussion from staff that we can present to you, we may recommend that get pushed to a future meeting in 2025. So just know that future agenda items doesn't necessarily mean the next meeting.
In the case of Carl Gibbs, that's fine. It's not, we've got some time, but yeah. Great. Any other items? Now may I move? All right, it is officially 8:33, so we will go ahead and adjourn and see everybody December 10th. Thank you.